Hey guys, it's Josh from BCR, and today we've decided to review the best products for your needs. For prices and more information, check out the links in the description below. Let's get started.
Soundbars are long and relatively thin speakers that incorporate stereo, or even surround sound audio in an easy-to-set-up device you plug into your TV's HDMI or optical port. They're add-on sound systems that don't take up much more space than your TV itself, but add much-needed power, range, and clarity to your audio experience. Most soundbars are one or two-piece devices. The soundbar itself is a long thin speaker that can work fine on its own. However, for strong bass performance, you need the additional power of a subwoofer. Fortunately, many soundbars come with a wireless subwoofer you can hide next to the couch or in the corner of the room, and it will automatically sync with the speaker you place in front of your TV. This list comprises the best soundbars we've tested. Number 5. Sonos Beam. Sonos' newest model is a compact smart soundbar speaker that delivers very good sound quality and is a decent choice for the more critical listener for both music and movie soundtrack playback. It has a lot of features at a price several $100s below the company's Playbar and Playbase models. The Beam, offered in a choice of black or white color schemes, has Amazon's Alexa and Google's Google Assistant digital assistants built in, so you can control it, other Sonos speakers, and other Alexa or Google Assistant compatible devices respectively using voice commands. It also includes support for Apple AirPlay 2. The speaker has a 5-microphone array with noise cancellation to help it hear spoken commands, even when the TV is on or music is playing. The system is pretty flexible. By adding a subwoofer you can create a 3.1 channel system, and build a full-blown 5.1 channel surround sound setup using a pair of optional wireless speakers. It supports a wide variety of streaming music services, including Apple Music, Pandora, and Spotify, and can be used as part of a Sonos and/or AirPlay 2 multi-room Wi-Fi audio system. Sonos Beam delivers sound quality that falls in the very good range. Although it has some noticeable sonic quirks, it reproduces music and dialogue very well. The bass has good impact and it's fairly detailed, but doesn't go deep. Although the mid-range is fairly even, it lacks a bit of fullness, and is a bit metallic. The treble is fairly extended, but it's a bit sizzly and the upper treble is subdued. This model is open sounding and does a decent job recovering the actual room ambience of recordings, but misses finer detail and complexity. The voice enhancement feature makes the mid-range a bit more prominent, nasal and grainy. There was no significant difference in sound quality between the HDMI, optical, and Wi-Fi inputs. The system can provide satisfying volume in a medium-sized room. The Beam does not have a physical remote control. It is designed to work via Wi-Fi with app remotes that are downloaded onto Apple and Android mobile devices. We found the general use section of these app remotes to be easy to use and glitch-free. The Beam does not have an on and off control. It has volume and mute, play and pause controls topped with an on-off control for the Alexa and Google Assistant microphone, but lacks source selection controls. It's important to mention that the Sonos soundbar doesn't have Bluetooth connection. It offers Wi-Fi or cable connections only. If you are looking for a soundbar under $400, this is definitely one you should check out. Number 4. Bose Soundbar 700. This 2-channel soundbar from Bose delivers great sound, so it's a good choice even for more critical listeners for both music and movie soundtrack playback. The Bose 700 boasts sturdy construction, with a tempered glass panel on the top of the enclosure. It has Amazon's Alexa and Google's digital assistants built in, so you can control it and other Alexa or Google Assistant compatible devices respectively using voice commands. It also has Bluetooth for playing music wirelessly from mobile devices and Wi-Fi capability, Bose proprietary, as well as Apple AirPlay 2, for streaming audio from online services that include Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Apple Music. The Soundbar 700 offers a choice of HDMI, ARC or optical connections for a TV and comes with a universal remote control that can be set to operate a TV, cable box and other audio and video devices. It can be expanded to form a 4.1 channel surround sound system by adding optional Bose rear speakers and a Bose subwoofer, and it can be used as part of a multi-room Wi-Fi audio system, consisting of other Bose or AirPlay 2 compatible Wi-Fi speakers. As mentioned, Bose's Soundbar 700 delivers very good sound quality. Although it has some noticeable sonic quirks. It reproduces music and dialogue very well. The bass has good impact, but is slightly boomy and doesn't go deep. The mid-range is even. but is a bit grainy and has a slightly echoey quality. The treble is fairly extended, but is slightly prominent, generally smeared and lacks in dynamics, and has a sizzly peak. This model does a decent job of recovering room ambience, but the echoey quality of the midrange adds artificial reverberation. When playing stereo, 2-channel, program material, the sound field extends somewhat above and a bit beyond the width of the speaker array enclosure. The dialogue mode, when used, sounds gritty, constricted, and a little bass shy. With Dolby Digital and DTS multi-channel program material, the sound image extends higher, and depending on the program material, may extend well past the sides of the soundbar. The dialogue mode, when used, sounds gritty. There was no significant difference in sound quality between the HDMI, optical, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi inputs. The system can provide satisfying volume in a medium-sized room. Number 3. Sonos Playbase Soundbar. Elegantly styled in either black or white finishes backed with a curved ultra-flat design. This is a pedestal-style speaker system that's sturdy enough to support TVs up to 75 pounds, according to the company. Its 2.58-inch height may let it fit underneath many TVs with wider stands. The speaker delivers very good overall sound, and is a decent choice for the more critical listener for both movie and music playback. The Playbase itself is a 3.0 channel system. You can add additional Sonos speakers and a subwoofer to create a full-fledged 5.1 channel surround system. It will also connect with other Sonos speakers in a multi-room audio setup. Like other Sonos speakers, the Playbase uses Wi-Fi to stream music from more than 24 services, or from other devices on your network. When used with optional Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant smart speakers, voice commands can be used to control the Playbase's volume and mute functions and to stream audio to it, other Sonos speakers, and other Alexa or Google Assistant compatible devices respectively. It also includes support for Apple AirPlay 2. The Playbase doesn't come with a remote, everything is done using the Sonos app. The Playbase connects to a TV with an optical cable, and connects to your network either via Wi-Fi or with an Ethernet cable. While the Playbase requires an internet connection for setup and for online streaming services, once set up it can be used with a TV without an internet connection. Sonos Playbase delivers very good sound quality. Although it has some noticeable sonic quirks, it reproduces music and dialogue very well. The bass has good impact and goes pretty deep, but is a bit boomy. Although the mid-range is fairly even, it lacks a bit of fullness and is a bit grainy and metallic. The treble is extended. On some program material it might sound slightly prominent and a bit sizzly. This model is generally open sounding and does a decent job recovering room ambience of recordings, but misses finer detail and complexity. The voice enhancement feature makes the mid-range a bit more prominent, nasal and grainy. There was no significant difference in sound quality between the optical and Wi-Fi inputs. The system can provide satisfying volume in a medium-sized room. Number 2. Sonos Arc. This full-featured Dolby Atmos soundbar speaker from Sonos, an all-in-one model that doesn't require a separate subwoofer, is among the top models in our ratings, with very good overall sound quality. It should provide satisfying sound even for more critical listeners for both music and movie and TV soundtracks. The soundbar has a total of 11 drivers, including one on each end, as well as 2 up-firing drivers on top for Dolby Atmos audio. Like with other Sonos soundbars, you can use its TruePlay calibration technology to adjust the sound to the room's acoustics, but it requires the use of an iOS device. This model can be configured as part of a full surround sound system when paired with a Sonos subwoofer and rear Sonos speakers, or as a multi-room system. It has Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant built in for responding to voice commands, and it's also compatible with Apple AirPlay. But like other Sonos models, it lacks Bluetooth wireless audio. It can connect to a TV via HDMI EARC, which supports Dolby Atmos and higher resolution formats, or via the included optical adapter. Sonos Arc soundbar delivers great sound quality. The bass has good impact and goes fairly deep, but might be a bit boomy in some cases. Mid-range is fairly even and the treble is extended. This soundbar does a decent job recovering room ambience of recordings, but sounds a bit congested. The 2-channel sound field has good height and extends somewhat beyond sides of the speaker array. The voice enhancement and night sound mode settings had a noticeable effect on the sound. When Dolby Digital 5.1 channel program material is played back, the width and height of the soundstage expands, and depending on the program material extends well beyond the width in speakers and up to the ceiling of a typical room. The voice enhancement and night sound mode settings also affected the sound. When playing Dolby Atmos material, the width and height of the soundstage expands and depending on the program material can fill the front end of the room. Audio imaging can extend to the sides and up and above from the front of the room to almost directly overhead depending on the program material, but there was no rear surround effect, and sounds that should have been in the rear come from the front. There was no significant difference in sound quality between the HDMI, optical, and Wi-Fi inputs. Dolby Atmos program material can only be played when the soundbar is used with a TV that has a HDMI ARC connection that supports Dolby Digital Plus, or a HDMI eARC connection that supports Dolby Digital Plus or Dolby Digital True HD. The system can provide satisfying volume in a medium-sized room. This is definitely our top pick for a soundbar under $1,000. And we highly recommend you check it out. Number 1. Samsung HW N950. This pricier 7.1.4 channel Samsung soundbar, which also include height channels for Dolby Atmos and DTS:X multi-channel sound, delivers very good sound quality. This model had previously got criticized for its low ease of use due to an issue with the system not being able to retain adjustments to the subwoofer settings, but a firmware update has fixed the problem. And we suggest that you update the soundbar to the latest firmware version. As a result, the HW N950S is now a good choice even for more critical listeners for both music and movie soundtrack playback. The system comes with a wireless subwoofer, plus a pair of wireless rear satellite speakers for a true surround sound experience. The main enclosure has side firing drivers, and both it and the rear speakers have upward firing drivers to create the sense of height when playing content with Dolby Atmos or DTS:X soundtracks. The system has built-in Wi-Fi for music streaming, as well as Bluetooth for beaming music from smartphones and other compatible devices. It is also compatible with Amazon's Alexa digital voice assistant, so you can control the soundbar's volume with voice commands when it is used with an Amazon Alexa-enabled device. The HW N950 has 2 HDMI inputs, and can pass through 4K HDR signals to a 4K TV. Samsung's HW N950 delivers very good sound quality, although it has some noticeable sonic quirks. It reproduces music and dialogue very well. In the standard sound mode, the bass has good impact and goes fairly deep. The mid-range is fairly even, but a bit grainy and hazy, and depending on the program material can sound a bit nasal and can be a bit overwhelmed by the bass. The treble is extended, but is a touch smeared and sizzly, and lacks dynamics. This model does a so-so job of recovering the actual room ambience of recordings. In the standard sound mode, playing 2-channel program material, only the soundbar and subwoofer are active, the rear surrounds are turned off, and the sound field extends somewhat above the top of the speaker array but doesn't extend much beyond the width and lacks front-to-back depth. The surround and smart sound mode sent sound to the rear surround speakers. In the surround setting, the sound image became wider, the mid-range became more even but somewhat rougher and a bit echoey, and the bass became less prominent and boomy. In the smart setting, the mid-range became somewhat harsher and more echoey, while the bass was similar to the surround setting. When 5.1 channel program material is played back in the standard mode, sound is heard in the rear channels, and with the proper listener position and an adjustment of the speaker volume levels, the system can provide a sound field that envelopes the listener to the side and rear, but not from above. The surround and smart settings have similar effects on the mid-range and bass as when used with 2-channel program material, except there is no obvious echo effect. They also affect the sound by changing the levels and possibly the sound mix in the various channels. When playing Dolby Atmos and DTS:X material, the width and height of the soundstage expands, and depending on the program material can fill the entire room. Audio imaging can extend overhead from the front to the back of the room depending on the program material as well as to the sides and rear. There was no significant difference in sound quality between the HDMI, optical, and Bluetooth inputs and high-quality Wi-Fi streaming. Dolby Atmos and DTS:X program material can only be played through the HDMI input. The system can provide satisfying volume in a medium-sized room. This soundbar is definitely an investment and far from a budget bar. But if you are looking for a thrilling Dolby Atmos and DTS:X surround sound, without needing to rearrange your living room, this bar should be at the top of your list.
Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you found this helpful, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions related to these products, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.